Okay, just a few Hound Patrol dreams here. So the trailer is absolutely perfect for what I need, and it is going to be perfect into the future. So right now I can haul the Hound fence and the generator and the fire ring and all of the things that didn't fit the totes. Here's just a couple of things I'm thinking about for the future. So number one thing I'm thinking very seriously about is putting in a water tank. So if I get a flat water tank, I measured, and there's all kinds of different things, but even a big one like a 50-gallon water tank, I could fit right here. And then the wheel wells, I can't really fit a HitchHiker in between the wheel wells. Even the smaller version is still a little bit too wide to fit just right in the wheel wells. So if I put in a water tank, then I could put a deck going across the water tank and across the wheel wells, and then that would give me the flat surface on top. I can mount the HitchHiker, like maybe even off to the side. I don't really care how it looks. So I can mount the HitchHiker off to one side, and then on the other side, I'd still have plenty of room to mount my generator, propane tanks, all that kind of stuff. And then if I put a hitch on the end of this, I could actually even carry the Hound fence. I'm gonna probably want to do a little figuring on that. I didn't like the way it was leaning on my pickup truck. It's supposed to be a 500-pound capacity. This is allegedly 375 pounds of fence. I didn't really like the way it was leaning, so I might look at some way to be able to carry that on the tow rack on the end for eventually. And then I've got the back of my pickup truck for my totes, which if it rains, it's waterproof. I could even eventually down the road maybe throw a tonneau cover over it, that I could take off to use my truck tent if I ever needed to. I mean, if I get the HitchHiker, obviously I would mainly be using that as my place of abode for my dogs and I. But I love that truck tent. I absolutely love that truck tent, and still might use it. I mean, there might be times I just want to go out in my truck and just use that and not drag the trailer, but love the truck tent. Other thing I was thinking of, I might, just for the heck of it, I may see if the truck tent, I have no idea. I mean, this trailer is really wide. It is, I mean, the interior dimension of this is 80 inches. The exterior is a little bit more than that. So, it's a 7-foot wide trailer. So I don't know whether the truck tent would even work in here or not. I might try it just for the heck of it to see what happens. So that's one thing I'm thinking about doing for the future. And like I said, the sky's the limit. I mean, I've seen people, they've got, propane hot water heaters, and basically they kind of turn these things into like a little overland camper. Some people use rooftop tents. I've never done a rooftop tent, and I've got my truck tent, so I don't really need to. I mean, if I do anything, I really, really like the HitchHiker. I think that would be a great way to have a, nice structure to sleep in, really well insulated. People use those in the winter and the summer. I've seen people, they hook up heat or air conditioning to them. I mean, it's crazy what you can do with those things. So that's some of the Hound dreams that we've got right now. It's 10 inches high to the top of these wheel wells. So if I did that and put the deck there, I'd have a really, really nice storage area. I could put, sliders or something like that. And, it would be, 10 inches high, about 51 inches, to the tailgate. So that would be plenty of storage and a slide out. So that's, another possibility. Anyway, I'm just thinking about all kinds of crazy things I want to do with this trailer. But first thing I got to do is lengthen the chain, figure out the right turn signal and brake light, and then probably the next thing I'll do after that is paint it. So what my plan is I want to paint the entire thing with bed liner. And you know, there's a couple companies that make bed liner, and there's one that happens to make bed liner in OD green, which I think would be totally badass. So I'm going to paint the whole thing in bed liner. I'm going to do that before I do any major modifications. Obviously, that's going to be kind of the first thing. But it really is in such good shape, it really doesn't even need that. That's not even an emergency. I mean, it's aluminum, so even though, you know, there are some areas in the trailer where, you know, the paint's now of course I don't see it, but you know, there's areas where the paint has kind of worn off, but it's aluminum, so it's you know, it's not an emergency for me to repaint this. It's more just, I think it would be badass to have OD green bed liner, you know, on the whole thing, the sides, the back, you know, the bed and everything like that. Eventually, most people who get these swap out the tires. So the tires are in great shape. I mean, these, you know, tires that I bought on this thing on auction. Now they're run flats. They're heavy as heck. From what I understand, they're about 150 pounds because you got a big metal thing in there, so the tires get shut out. You can still go on them. But I mean, the tires are in excellent shape. So eventually I may swap out the tires, you know, especially if I was going to do that. See, these tires are in really, really not good shape. I mean, it doesn't look like they were used much at all. If I was going to do that eventually, I might even swap out the hubs or the axle so I can have the same bolt pattern as my truck. These tires are obviously a lot bigger than my truck's, but what would be ideal would be to have the same tires on my truck and on the trailer so that basically I can use the spare for either. I don't know how possible that is. I would probably have to put a lift on my truck in order to be able to get tires the same size as the trailer, or go with slightly smaller tires on the trailer. All stuff that I can't afford anytime in the near future, so just random thoughts. But you know, I've seen other people, basically one of the first things a lot of people do on these is swap out the tires, you know, for lighter tires. But since really I'm nowhere near max capacity for this trailer, even with, you know, with a 375 pound fence and 50-gallon water tank, which I guess is like around 400 pounds, you know, when it's filled, and then just my generator and my fire ring and a couple of odds and ends. I mean, I'm nowhere near what this trailer is capable of. So, you know, tires may wait a while. So, you know, I think probably I'll do the bed liner first and then set up the water tank. And, you know, I'm kind of thinking about, since I'd have a deck over it, and I'll have to make sure, you know, I've got like a hinge or something so I can access if I need to. But on the side, you know, I could put a fill, and then I could put a drain. It looks on one, the tanks are all different depending on which manufacturer, but one of the ones I'm looking at, the fill and the drain are on the same side. So I could probably do something like that, and then I could just, you know, fill it up, you know, just like with a city water hookup if I'm out, or, you know, with a hose here, and then drain so I could drain the water out. Other thing is, it sounds a little crazy, but like if I'm going to do that, I may as well throw a heater underneath it, and then, you know, eventually I'm planning on having a power station, you know, like a Goal Zero or a Jackery or a Blue Eddy or something like that, you know, with solar. And as long as I'm putting the thing in, it's not that expensive to buy a tank heater. So I should probably stick one underneath, even if I don't use it too often. It would be good to have, I suppose. Just all random ideas that I can't afford. I can't afford any of these ideas right now. But I'm very, very happy because for very little money, the cost of a couple of chains and the aggravation of figuring out my wiring issue, which I just say aggravation because I am not very mechanically inclined. So I'm gonna have to figure it out the hard way. And I don't know what I'm doing really. So, but the good news is, unlike a truck or a car, all the wires are accessible really. I mean, they, you know, you've got your, you know, the wires are back there and then they run underneath the trailer and they come out there and then, you know, go to the hookup. So I can follow the whole wire so I can figure out what's wrong. Or it's possible it also could be the light fixture itself. Like I said, I tried actually 3 different bulbs. I tried 2 different LED bulbs and then the original incandescent bulb that came with it. And I didn't get anything with any of them, so I know it's not the bulb, but it could be the place where the bulb hooks in and the light fixture itself, or it could be something along the wire, or one of my buddies who knows more than I do said one thing that I need to look at is this thing here to make sure that like all the pins are working. So at any rate, I'll figure that out. But just Hound Patrol dreams. That's what this video is all about.